everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mind Over Matter. So, my guest today is the lovely Tanvi Agarwal. She wears many hats, and she is an illustrator, an educator, and a visual harvester, in addition to, of course, being the founder of Silly Strokes. And she's based in Kolkata, India, and she enjoys telling stories via doodles and loves it when she gets to create brand identities using her own unique style. So welcome, Tanvi. Thank you so much for being with us today. So I want to kick us off by really asking. I'm very intrigued by the name of your business. So tell us everything about Silly Strokes.
Hi Manakshi. Firstly, thank you for having me here. And about my name, okay, so I basically did my engineering, and I think I was in my fourth year when I decided that I don't want to carry this forward as a career. And when I told this to my parents, of course they were blown out. They did not like the idea at all. And once my engineering was done, I think I did not start Silly Strokes for probably 3 months. And the only reason was I did not know what to name my pages, what to name my brand as. And I kept holding it off. And I was in Bangalore at that time. My mom was in Kolkata. So every time we got on a call, she used to be like, when are you starting off with your page? And my response was, Mom, I'm still looking for a name. I don't know what name to, give to my brand. And she got furious. Like there was a point when she got so furious that, she just shouted at me that, you don't want to do engineering. You don't want to carry forward with this as a career path. And now you're not doing what you want because you can't find name. So I texted all my friends, everyone in my contact that, suggest me some name. So I don't remember if this is a name that I came up with or something someone suggested. But I remember I made a page with this name and I told my mom, and I was still like, Mom, I'm not sure if I really like it that much. And her response to that was that, just keep it. When you see it every day, you're going to love it. And, it's just like how, I see you every day. And there are things that I don't like about you, but I still love you. So when you see something every day, you'll just fall in love with it. So just go ahead. And I mean, I did not have any answer to that. So that's how Silly Strokes just, stuck. And like I have good reasons to, say why Silly Strokes and all of these now, but they're all made up. So if you hear any other response from me, don't believe it.
That's just fantastic to me. It's such a heartwarming story about it. Fabulous. So, Tanvi, tell us how 2020 has been for you. So, what did you start your year with? Your top 2-3 goals, and obviously, how did the pandemic? What kind of impact did that have on you, and what else got in the way?
I shifted back to Calcutta. I decided to stay for like probably at least a year with my parents because I'd been out of home for like 4.5 years, and in India we stay with our parents. Like we don't move out usually. So I decided that this 1 year I'm going to stay with my parents. I'm going to try and explain them what my business is. I want to give them the opportunity to understand what I'm doing and all of that. And so I think one of my biggest goal was to be able to spend time with my family because I had not done that since like 4.5 years. So that was one. And I thought that it would be a good space for me since I'm starting out my business. So there'll be a lot of support financially, emotionally, and just in my daily life, I'll have a very good support system at home. So that was like a goal for me, that I want to spend that time with my family and I want to work on my business. I don't want to, take care of what groceries to buy today and, the bills that I have to pay. So I just came home thinking that that is how it's going to be. And I think the had was to start earning enough from my business so that I can actually make investments in my business now. That some buying some equipments or probably taking a workspace and all of these things. I did have all of these things in mind, but I think the pandemic did not really allow us to do a lot of things that we had planned for. So yes, that was there. I think one of my biggest goals for 2020 was to really find my style. Like when I had started Silly Strokes, it was more of graphic designing. Like, I used to take up work for brands, and that was simple graphic design work. I take a picture from one place, I take a caption from another place, I put them together in a artistic way, and that goes out on the social media. A lot of graphic design work is limited to following the brief that the client has given and working around that. You have brand guide set, you have everything set, you're just supposed to put them together, and that is not the work I enjoyed doing. But I did that for quite a lot of time. I think I did that till March, April, or maybe even May. And I desperately wanted to find a style that is good enough for people to really pay me for my work. Like, not the graphic design work that they want, but my style. So that is a shift that, I desperately wanted, and I had put that as a goal for 2020. And I do see that happening now, maybe not at a very huge scale, but at least slowly. So I think that is one goal that I achieved in 2020. So I think again, it is the same for most of us, that the pandemic actually made us slow down. We especially when we are solopreneurs, we are doing a lot of things together. Like, there's everything that we are doing, we don't really have anyone else to put the work off to. So there are so many things that I kept pushing aside, my personal goals, or smaller things that I wanted to do for Silly Strokes. I kept pushing them aside because I kept giving myself the reason that okay, I don't have enough time for it. For example, my website, I wanted to start off with newsletters, and I think the pandemic gave me enough time to convince myself that okay, these excuses are not taking me anywhere. And now so I think the pandemic did give me enough time to really pause and not spend time on things that I don't enjoy doing, and really focus on things that I know will take me at a better stage than I am right now. So I did my website, I started my newsletters, and all of those things happened. So that is a very positive change that the pandemic gave. The biggest thing was that I could not meet people anymore. Like, I think since the past, before this lockdown happened, 6 months were my time when I'd met so many people, and I used to meet people almost every week, so one new person at least. And I used to just go to these art exhibitions or these flea markets where there were so many artists, and I got the opportunity to connect with so many people, listen to their journeys and stuff like that. And that kind of did not happen in the lockdown time. Like, people had all gotten behind the screens, and it was difficult to really transition and really connect with people via screens. So I think that was one. And the other was the workspace. Like, when I shifted to Calcutta, I rented out a co-working space. So when the pandemic happened, I was forced to sit on my bed and work. So when we are working from home, there is no line between work and all the work or the household stuff, or maybe anything that just comes up, and your workspace. And especially when you're not in a mechanical job, when you're in a creative field where the flow of creativity is what really gets the work done. Staying at home, and there's a constant break in that flow. Like, someone calls you, there's someone on the door, there's something that's happening at home, and every 5 minutes, or maybe even you just sit, you take your time to get into that zone, and then someone comes up. So I think that is something I've struggled with a lot.
I love how you've reframed your perspective on what the pandemic, the impact of the pandemic, and how you've taken the time to, like you said, slow down and work on your business. Just fabulous.
Yes, so I think the first thing that I learned about myself was that I actually could say no. I mean, I really struggled with that. Initially, when people would come up with work queries, I mean, I used to feel guilty if I, turned them down, that, I don't want to do this work. That is something I could not say. And I think I learned that about myself, that I could do it, and, I should do it. And this is something I'm starting to practice now. Like, if I get a work query that I'm not interested in, I'm very upfront in saying that now, that, this is not something I'd be interested in. And to minimize my guilt, what I do is I generally connect them with someone I know who could do their work. Another thing that I learned about myself is that I'm very bad at having transactional relationships. Like, even with most of my clients, when I'm talking to them, I think most of my talk usually ends with a personal talk. Like, it is first client work, all the work. And then there's usually a small, maybe 2 minute, 3 minute talk that is more on the personal level. So I think that is something I really enjoy. I mean, most of my clients have turned into, my brand ambassadors, I could say. And like, I that is a thing I think some of my friends also, instill this thing in me that, your client, your relationships with, the people you work for and you work with really matter a lot. And that is something that has been there with me since the beginning of my freelancing journey. That, if I'm in a relationship, if I'm in a client freelancer relationship with you, then that usually means a little more from my end than just a client freelancer thing. And that has actually worked out really well for me. Like, I talk to my clients when I need suggestions. If there are times when I don't know how to deal with other clients, I go to some of my previous clients and I ask them. So that is the kind of relationship I have with them, and I think that is something very fruitful. I think in this entire the situation that we have right now, I think everyone is grateful. At least most of us who are privileged, who are lucky enough, are grateful to be in their houses, to be safe among their family members. And I think that is something I'm really grateful for. The next thing that I generally don't talk about that much is the kind of silent support that I've got from my family. Like, being from a middle class Indian family, art is not something we are told that it is a career. And I grew up with that thinking. Like, I think when I was in class 8, I decided to do architecture because I love science and I wanted to include art in whatever I do. So architecture was the only way where I thought that I could bring both of these and put them together. But architecture did not happen for a lot of reasons. And I grew up thinking that art was not a career option. It was not something you could turn it into a career. And not forcing me to, take up something that I don't want to has been something, I think I don't really appreciate that much. But yeah, that is something I'm really grateful to. I'll be very honest with you, until you asked me that what were your plans for 2020, I'd never penned them down. I'd never had anything solid in my mind that this is something I want to achieve this year. They were just vague goals in my mind that, okay, this is something I just want. I just wish this happens. Like, not something I want, I just wish this happens.
Right.
But for 2021, I do have some plans. First thing is, of course, I want to earn enough to do some things that are on my list. So I think that is a plan every solopreneur, every person who is working would have. But anyways, I want to set up a proper workspace and have some good equipments and a good environment to work in, because I've realized I can't work from home. Because I want to do an extensive course on sketchnoting. I did a sketchnoting bootcamp this year, and there were 9 people who had registered, and the response was lovely. And now that I look back, I see that there were so many things that I could have done, that I could have added. And so I want to do a proper, extensive, probably a 1-month course on sketchnoting that people can register on. So that is one thing that is on my goal. I think another thing would be to travel. I had so many travel plans this year that just did not happen. So yeah, the next goal is to be able to travel a lot and meet so many more new people. I think one thing that I'll start doing is probably valuing my work and the worth that my work generates. Like, I still struggle with giving quotations to clients. Like, I know that I should probably charge this much amount, but I always send out an amount that's lower than that. And this is something I actually realized this year when I had a client. I gave them a quotation and we were on the second round of revision, and they came back to me that, what you've charged is actually very less. And I'm like, oh my God, like my value, the value that, I put for my work was so less that a client had to come back saying that, we can pay you more. So that is like, these are small things that I realized, and I think I really want to start valuing my work more than I do right now. Stop is, I think, pushing the work. I want to stop pushing the, work on my list. I generally do it, like, I keep pushing them until I can't push them anymore. For continue, it would be, this feeling like when you're creating art and, when people are connecting to what you're creating. Like generally my artworks are, more on self-reflection or things that I've observed about myself. Not that I've corrected them, but I've just observed about myself or maybe people around me. And I usually tell a lot of stories, and even my newsletters are based out of, those things that I've observed. So I see so many people connecting back, I see so many people who, resonate with that, and it feels like I'm giving something to the world. Like, making something that's, creating some meaning or creating some impact to some person out there. So I think that is something I really enjoy, and that is something I want to continue to do. I think any kind of, courage or confidence comes to you only when you're aware of why you're doing something. And, that is something that really coincides with all your values that you hold. So I think for me, grit is awareness, self-awareness, and accepting and acknowledging the why of why you're doing anything that you're doing. So I think that is the, like, so many people, I know so many people who are just running towards something and they don't know why they are doing it. They are just doing probably because their parents want it, because they probably want that degree on their profile, or there are so many other reasons. And like, I don't think that, your why has to be driven by a passion only. Then it has to give you that, only you that happiness. It can be anything. If you have family to feed, that can be your why. If you have anything at all that, really drives you, and that is a right reason, that is not something wrong, I think that gives you a lot of courage and a lot of grit to be doing whatever you're doing. The first thing, again, why becomes a very big reason as to, knowing why you're doing something and believing in that. Because, if you have any doubts, not related to your own capabilities, something that is related to the external world, I think that is something that should make you recheck why you're doing something. And so why, again, is a big thing. I think the next thing is removing so many toxic things that we keep holding on to. It can be anything, like our relationships or our past mistakes with our business or in the personal life or anything. I think a lot of us have the habit of continuous self-criticism, and I don't think that really fetches us anything. What has been fruitful is really sitting with it, writing down, what happened, why I did that, why should I not be doing that, how should I not be doing that again, and just moving on. I mean, you made a mistake. Your mistakes don't define you. Many times when I made, when I charged terribly, like, I think for a thing that I should have charged maybe 15K, 20K, I charged 2,000, 5,000. You own up to your mistake. Next time you make sure that you do better. Like, not that you don't make that mistake, but you make a better one.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tanvi. This is just enjoyed our conversation, and thank you so much for sharing your personal story. And it's really a story of grit, resilience, and courage. And wish you the best. And may all your dreams and hopes come true for 2021. And thank you for sharing your time with us today, and best wishes.